Dr. Tharoor, it's been more than 20 days since Congress Party's manifesto had been released, and BJP leaders are talking about it every day.
So without reading it, they're talking about things that are not in it.
Yes, while you say that they're possibly reading a manifesto written by a ghost, they are saying that this is a fight to protect India from ideas, dangerous ideas that are being presented by the Congress Party in the garb of solutions. I wanted to ask you something like an economic redistribution or an X-ray.
Where is the word economic redistribution in the manifesto?
Absolutely.
Look, I'm in the manifesto committee. There is no such phrase in the manifesto.
Even for that matter, a census. Do you think the manifesto leaves some grey areas that have left it open to interpretation?
Not at all. Every charge the BJP has applied is completely concocted by the BJP's propaganda machinery. They have talked about people snatching gold in Mangalsutras. There is no reference to any of this. They've talked about the inheritance tax. There is no reference to any of this. None of these issues are even discussed, by the way, in the Manifesto Committee. The only issue that they have drawn attention to is Rahul Gandhi using the word X-ray. But that has not been coming into your house and opening your cupboards. What Rahul Gandhi said very clearly is an X-ray gives you a picture, an accurate picture of what's going on inside your body. Similarly, we need an X-ray to find out what's going on inside our country. Caste census is simply to identify caste because, as you know, in every state government and the central government, some benefits are given or withheld depending on your caste affiliation. Therefore, knowing the real numbers in any case makes sense. If you're making policies that give benefits to caste, you may as well know what you're talking about. Secondly, we've said it should be a socio-economic caste census. In other words, we should correlate what people are earning with what they've got in terms of a caste affiliation. For example, if there is a correlation between Dalits and poverty, if more Dalits are below the poverty line, for argument's sake, then you really need to make an effort to have targeted policies to benefit Dalits. If you find Adivasis are disproportionately below the poverty line, you should do the same thing. And so it goes. My argument with all of this is that this is a process that will have to be embarked upon. It is not at this stage anything more than a diagnosis. An X-ray is used for diagnosing. The prescription has not been made until you've done the diagnosis. Why is the BJP inventing an imaginary prescription of wealth redistribution and ascribing it to the Congress? All we're talking about is let's have an accurate picture of what's going on. That's a diagnosis. It is not a prescription. If you object to the diagnosis, tell us why. Why is it you don't want to know what the caste distribution is in the country? Why is it you don't want to know who's poor in this country?
There's one more objection that they've been talking about, which is the Muslim quotas. They've said that
there is no Muslim quota.
But today the Prime Minister said that will the Congress Party come forward and announce that it will not have Muslim quotas in future? Now that I know is a...
Let me say very clearly, this is a manifesto for a party fighting the Lok Sabha election. At the national level, there never has been a quota based on religion for any community. Some states, and I think I know particularly which one the Prime Minister is thinking about, have decided that Muslims can be classified as OBC in those states.
Karnataka.
And no, it's not just Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, there are other places where some categories of Muslims are deemed to be OBCs. That is entirely, it's still only an OBC reservation. But under the OBC, the number of castes listed, and it so happens in some states, Muslims are counted like an OBC caste. That is something which has been non-controversial in those states. Why the Prime Minister wants to make a bogey of it, we don't know, because this is a national election. It's not a state assembly election. If he had to make an issue of it, he should have made an issue of it in the Karnataka assembly. He didn't do so. He could have made an issue in the Kerala assembly. He didn't do so. Or Tamil Nadu assembly. But this is not a federal policy. It's not a union government policy. And our manifesto is written for the union government. We haven't mentioned this anywhere.